Speaks your language.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Joseph Johnson and this is NTN Nationwide. Glad to have you join us. Let's begin with Kebbi State because the state government is taking steps towards regulating water transport activities along the River Niger in 6 local government areas of the state. The state governor was reacting to the frequent boat mishap in the state that led to the death of at least 80 people and schools missing. Musa Babaliu reports.
This is Yauri Fish Market. It is one of the biggest fish markets in northern Nigeria, providing countless economic opportunities, not only for people in Nigeria, but also for those from Mali, Niger and Benin republics. The market is located along the bank of the River Niger, serving 6 local governments area of Kebbi State. Majority of persons bringing goods to the market live along the river bank and convey their goods via smaller boats as the only means of transportation. This is the life they enjoy over the years, but for the boat mishaps, which has become major challenges in recent years. This year alone, the area has recorded 4 major boat accidents that led to the death of about 50 people and scores missing.
About 3 weeks ago, we have a ferry incident and a number of bodies were recovered. Up to today that we are speaking, we don't have an authoritative figure at about the number of people that ferry is carrying from Niger Republic, Gaya in Niger Republic to Lolo in Kebbi State.
The state government says it will come up with policies that will enforce the use of life jackets, avoiding overloading and disallowed night maritime activities.
We have been talking to all the boat operators and ferry operators to respect the capacity of the boats, respect rules and regulations. Most of the victims are people from Kebbi, Niger and Kwara State, as well as those from neighboring Niger Republic. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
To the legislature, where the House of Representatives has advised the Nigerian Customs Service to look into ways of making exportation of products easy for Nigerian exporters to enhance economic growth. This was one of the suggestions when the House ad hoc committee investigating massive deforestation and corruption that has crippled the environment and its effect on climate change visited the Nigerian Customs Service's Tinkan Island Port and Terminals in Lagos. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Zumba reports.
The purpose of the visit is to ascertain what was presented to the committee on paper by the Nigerian Customs and come up with a position that will help federal government achieve its mandate.
And the fact that this government is encouraging agricultural exports. So we need faster issuance of CCI because agricultural exports cannot stay long in the port awaiting documentation. We are doing our best. Since the reintroduction of ease of doing business, a lot of facilitation of trade has improved.
At the Tinkan Island, members discovered over 300 containers stashed without documentation, which the chief executive of the Tinkan Island Containers Limited explained that until the clearance process is completed, they cannot be released.
Our customers are the shipping lines, and our obligation are vis-à-vis the government. There are due processes to be followed.
Members also visited the Apapa Command, where the controller, Jibrin Musa, emphasized the need for good access road.
Because of the number of trucks that are coming in and going out,
Sometimes the ports, could cause the vehicles to break down, and sometimes even the content of these vehicles, is thrown overboard.
In Rivers State, the committee visited Area 2 Command One, Port Harcourt, where they demanded documented information on what has gone out of the country with regards to containers and woods. Chairman of the committee, B.D. Uchenna Eke, expressed satisfaction with the way Nigerian customs handle issues of export, especially woods.
We've been able to come together, we've been able to dialogue, we've been able to find a solution to it. And that's why you see what the custom is doing presently has really improved their ways of handling issues.
The committee will make recommendations and present to the House for appropriate action. Ifani Esumba, NT News.
The Minister of Science and Technology, Ogbonnaya Onu, has advocated a technology-based agriculture approach to realize the food security initiative of government. He spoke when he received the Kano State Action Committee for the establishment of neem fertilizer processing plant in Abuja. Ado Adamo completes the report.
Fertilizer processing and production to meet the farming needs in Nigeria with contributions to the Agricultural Development Initiative is strategic and expedient, and by extension the growth of science and technology. Little wonder, therefore, that analysts assert that the importance of science and technology as a lifeline of the 21st century development in all sectors cannot be overemphasized. Minister of Science and Technology, Ogbonnaya Onu, offers to work with state governments to take advantage of modern innovations in science and technology to drive their developmental agenda, especially agriculture. He commended the Kano State government for investing on science and technology and described the neem fertilizer initiative as a clear direction toward attaining food sufficiency in the country.
We are so happy that the Kano State government is looking inwards and trying to meet the needs of our nation.
Chairperson, Action Committee for the Establishment of Neem Fertilizer Processing Plant in Kano, Bilkisu Waziri, said the committee recognizes the strategic importance of the Ministry of Science and Technology in realizing her objective.
We don't need to import. Kano will provide all the fertilizer needed in the whole country by the grace of the Almighty Allah.
The ministry and the committee are going to work together for the smooth execution of the project and several other science-related programs in the state. In Abuja, Ado Adamo also, NTA News.
Meanwhile, federal government says it will continue with its policy on yam production for export as efforts are underway to perfect the storage and packaging of the commodity to meet the international standard. The Minister of Agriculture stated this during the 2017 World Food Day Sensitization Walk in Abuja. Musa Baba Aliyu again reports.
Change the feature of migration, invest in food security and rural development is the theme of this year's World Food Day celebration. Audu Ogbe, who led the sensitization work, says Nigeria has resolved to boost its economy through agriculture and export to earn foreign currency.
Presently, the ministry is committed to making the sector a pivot for economic stabilization in diversifying the economy, generating employment and creating wealth in the country.
This, he says, will create millions of jobs, therefore discouraging migration among the youth. On the reported rejection of Nigeria's yam in European commodity markets, the minister says delay in the delivery of the produce was responsible.
We do not, as a ministry, export yams. We only support the private sector. If there are problems, we'll solve them. But we will export yams. The world market business of yams is about $12 billion. We have no business staying away from it.
16th of October is the day set aside for the World Food Celebration by the United Nations. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Now, the Nigeria Information and Communications Sector, ICT, if well harnessed, will boost the economy as well as generate more revenue for the country. Director General NITDA, Dr. Isa Pantami, said these are the 2017 Gulf Information Technology Exhibition, GITEX, holding in the United Arab Emirates. Laure Bala Hassan reports that the exhibition is the 37th in the series.
With the theme, Reimagining Realities, Discover, Transform and Innovate, GITEX is a yearly technology event in the Middle East, which attracts participants from different countries. It is one of the largest technology exhibitions in the Middle East.
4, 6 ideas and 4 are there.
Nigeria is promoting 3 activities for its participation: the Startup Innovation Hub, the Nigeria Pavilion, and the African Investment Forum.
So what we are doing now is to support local production of vehicles within Nigeria. So we are working with all the relevant, incredible automotive stakeholders from around the world to see how best we can support them.
At the age of 20, 18, 21, and then they are doing all this. What they need is push. The Facebook, the Twitter, and then the Instagram. They're so young guy, because they have a very good opportunity and a good environment. That's why they're able to excel.
We built a slide operating system that has no computation power.
GITEX exhibition offers an opportunity to interact, experience, and get the latest in technology. From Dubai World Trade Center, United Arab Emirates, Laure Bala Hassan, NTA News.
And back home, in furtherance of funding the 2017 budget, the Senate has received an executive communication from President Muhammadu Buhari seeking approval for a $5.5 billion loan. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye also reports on 2 adopted motions, which are the need to check the rising cases of drug abuse among youths and the urgent need for proactive steps to nip in the bud the reported outbreak of monkeypox disease in Nigeria. The Senate also adopted a motion to congratulate the Super Eagles on World Cup qualification.
Appropriation Act, which has a deficit of 2.356 trillion, provisions for new borrowings of 2.321 trillion respectively. The Act also provides for domestic borrowing of 1.254 trillion and external borrowing of 1.067 trillion, about $3.5 billion.
That while drug abuse, especially cannabis and cocaine, has been a long-time problem among northern male youths, codeine cough syrup, vanillin, tramol, and other prescriptive drugs have become, as termed, the new cancer ravaging women and girls in the north.
The monkeypox virus was first identified in Denmark in 1958 during an investigation into a pox-like disease amongst monkeys, and later identified in humans in 1970 in Zaire, today's Democratic Republic of Congo, in a 19-year-old boy.
The Senate also adopted a motion to congratulate the Super Eagles on World Cup qualification and for the NFF to judiciously use funds released by FIFA for preparations. To security matters now, the Nigerian Army has described the 3rd quarter of its Operation Rowan Water as successful. Spokesman of Operation Lafia Dole disclosed this to the media at the operation's 3rd quarter briefing with the media in Yola. He said in spite of challenges encountered, massive successes were recorded in airlift operations as 842 missions were conducted between July and September.
Within the period under review, the air component actively supported the Theatre Command in continuation of the latest clearance operation artillery strike. This was addition to several independent operations to shape the environment for ground troops to operate effectively. These were executed through the provision of extensive intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance cover and airstrikes against identified legitimate targets.
He emphasized that the Nigerian army will intensify efforts towards completely eradicating insurgency in the northeast, as well as improves on humanitarian missions for IDPs in the country. So far, the army has carried out 151 surgical interventions on IDP camps, while 1,032 patients were screened for various medical procedures. He drew attention to the huge progress made in the area of intelligence gathering. In the meantime, addressing the challenges of youth's restiveness through interventions in education and economic empowerment must be a priority for those in leadership. Governor Tanko Almakura of Nasarawa State stated this when he played host to the participants of National War College on study tour of the state. Joshua Ojito reports.
This year's Geostrategic Study Tour of National Defense College has as its theme Youth Empowerment and National Security, Issues and Prospects, with 11 teams dispatched across the country to find solutions to youth restiveness through research. Ambassador Chijioke Wigwe, who is the provost of the college, led one of the teams to Nasarawa State for 1 week study tour, and they met with Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura.
So we must get the youth right through skill acquisition, through proper education, and through farming, through other engagements.
Nasarawa State government says in the last 6 years, it developed a blueprint for youth empowerment under the Nasarawa Youth Empowerment Scheme (NAYES), where more than 5,000 youth have been engaged in various programs to take them off the streets.
This initiative is yielding positive results as it has helped in achieving the twin goal of eradicating idleness in our youth and at the same time exploring their potentials.
This is in addition to other interventions in agriculture through Outgrower Scheme, where thousands of youths were supported to go into rice farming. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
So talking security, 190 newly recruited police constables into the Plateau State Police Command have been charged to be disciplined and obey rules and regulations guiding the force. Plateau State Commissioner of Police Onde Ade gave the charge at the opening of a 3-day orientation course for new constables. Felicia Dallop brings us details.
The men of the force, gallantly dressed to take up their new career, were charged to brace up to the task ahead and put in their best when deployed to the field. State Commissioner of Police Undie Adie said the orientation exercise has become necessary to properly position their minds on what is expected of them. This, he said, will further add value to the Nigeria Police Force. The Commissioner of Police also stressed the need for the constables to learn to live within their means to avoid extortion and crime.
You are not going to police the communities as the bosses of those communities. You are rather servants. So I don't see how, if you consider yourself a servant of the community, you will turn around to begin to intimidate or harass the community.
The CP also spoke about the issue of the ban on motorcycles in Jos.
It has not been lifted, and so any cyclist, commercial cyclist, that is observed to be flouting this ban is liable to be arrested and have his motorcycle impounded.
It would be recalled that in 2012, the Plateau State government banned the use of motorcycles in Jos and Bukuru metropolis for security and to also ensure orderliness on the roads. In Jos, Felicia Dallop, NTA News.
The need to bridge the infrastructural gap for industrialization engages experts as we join Jennifer in our Lagos Center. Jennifer, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, Joseph. Good evening and welcome to Lagos.
Experts in corporate governance have advised the Lagos State government to adopt 21st century models that will help address the current infrastructure deficit in the state. Nosa Osula reports that some of the solutions preferred include an integrated system of land and tax administration, synchronization of identity management and land registry, as well as blockchain system.
The experts spoke at the 2017 edition of the Lagos State Government Infrastructure Roundtable in conjunction with Harvard Business School Association of Nigeria. The keynote speaker, Professor John Makomba, advised the Lagos State government to take cues from other climes where federating states were looking away from the federal government in the area of development.
One trend is massive urbanization that's hundreds of millions of people into cities. In Lagos, of course, and also in Jakarta and Sao Paulo and everywhere else.
The state has done a fantastic job of increasing its IGR in this country, as we all know. Creating the system is not that expensive, and the eventual tax revenue that Lagos will generate by having the proper blockchain-enabled land registry is extraordinary.
Governor Akinwumi Ambode highlighted the areas where Lagos State required massive infrastructure.
We have a population density of 6,939 persons per kilometer and an average of 5 persons per household. With all this comes challenges and pressures on the physical and social infrastructure.
Governor Ambode also assured residents that the state government would continue to adopt a long-term view on infrastructure development and economic independence through innovative solutions. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has urged judges and lawyers to embrace transparency and accountability in the administration of justice in the state, with a view to enhancing confidence in the legal system. The governor, who spoke during a church service to commemorate the 2017-2018 legal year of the state judiciary, says the expectations of the citizenry from the government is enormous and require all stakeholders to demonstrate patriotism and leadership and to work continuously to promote the rule of law and guarantee protection of lives and property. Nosa Osula again takes the story.
The governor, who spoke before a gathering of serving and retired judges, magistrates, senior lawyers, and other legal practitioners, urged members of the judicial arm to build confidence of residents by being upright and fearless in the discharge of their duties, as the judiciary remains the last hope of the common man.
While legal professionals is vital to play in promoting the cause of justice, protecting human rights, and upholding professional standards, it is a fulfillment of our promises to advance the cause of justice that the first day of the forensic center was commissioned to aid the investigation and dispensation of justice.
The acting chief judge of the state, Justice Okpeyemi Oke, in her remarks reiterated the judiciary's commitment to upholding the rule of law and to protect the downtrodden in the society.
We are going to ensure that every member of staff of the Lagos State Judiciary will be responsible and not responsible for their attitude and their action in moving the judiciary forward.
In his sermon, Bishop of Lagos and Archbishop of the Ecclesiastical Province of Lagos, the Most Reverend Adebola Ademowo, urged stakeholders in the justice sector to always dispense justice with the fear of God. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
Residents of Badagry have commended the Lagos State government for its timely intervention in the upgrade of infrastructure in the state. This was at the annual constituency meeting of the Lagos State House of Assembly for Badagry Constituency 1. Doidia reports that the residents also appealed to the Federal Ministry of Works to repair the degrading portion of the Lagos-Badagry Expressway in order to save lives.
The annual constituency stakeholders meeting, which was held across the various constituencies of the Lagos State House of Assembly, was to present the scorecard of the legislative activities to the electorate. With the theme, True Representation and Accountability, the forum provided the people the opportunity to bear their mind on issues affecting them. For them, Badagry Constituency 1 remained key to the country, being a major gateway to business and economic activities of the state.
We want them to do things that the public want or the community likes.
Our need of women is ICU for maternity.
And that is the only way you can find out the expectation of the people. What do they actually need?
So far, a total of 43 bills have been presented before the Lagos State House of Assembly, out of which 16 of them have been passed into law and 12 others are being appraised for comprehensive legislative attention in Lagos. Doing Dia, NT News.
Negative media hype on the 72 metric tons recently exported yam to the global market from Nigeria is attracting reactions from the private sector exporters who are saying that the commodity was not rejected in the United Kingdom. Correspondent Mohammed Abdulkadir examines the export regime of agro-produce vis-a-vis the federal government's launch of exportation of yams in Lagos.
African sub-region, Nigeria is a big market for cultivation and exportation of yam with about 62 varieties to our credit. The flag off for the export of yam by the federal government in June this year at Lily Pond Terminal, Lagos, is being keyed into by the private sector players who are worried about the delay in documentation and on the non-compliance with the European Union recommended export control plan for the country.
The challenges of export promotion business in Nigeria is the problem of coordination.
Exporters and experts at the Lagos-held Interministerial Technical Committee on Zero Reject of Agricultural Commodities in Global Markets aimed at growing non-oil exports in the country are changing the narrative to clear the wrong impression going viral in the nation's media space.
US rejecting Nigerian yam, which is a false. The consignment was delayed in Nigeria for more than 2 months.
If you go to the bank and all that, within how many days you have all the support to import. But when you talk of export, it's not.
Between July 2016 and June 2017, about 48 notifications were received from EU on the nation's export goods due to chemical and biological contaminants. In Lagos, Muhammad Abdulkadir, NTA News.
Those are contribution, others are from Lagos. Back to Joseph in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Jennifer from our Lagos Network Center there. Thank you very much. Moving on, 1,000 women from Kwara State are to benefit from the Future Assured program, an initiative of the wife of Nigerian President Aisha Buhari. This was disclosed at the flag off of the program in Orin, Kwara State capital. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya completes the story.
Wife of the Kwara State Governor, Mrs. Omalewa Ahmed, expressed concern over women's well-being in the society, stressing that once a woman is empowered, the society will be a better place. The program, which is a 2-week skill acquisition program in production of confectionaries and soap making, will also include computer training, tie and dye, among others, after which successful participants will be fully empowered. She explained that the Future Assured program will go a long way to not only empower the women, but will also enable them assist their husbands at home.
This program is intended to empower with different skills and trades to start a more decent and vibrant lifestyle by being self-engaged. This program is a further attestation to the commitment and desire of the government to better the lives of the citizenry.
The Kwara State Governor, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Ahmed, represented by the Commissioner for Information and Communications, Mahmood Ajaybe, lauded the efforts of the First Lady for the initiative, adding that it is in line with the present administration's commitment to provide for women and children in Nigeria. Future Assured program is an initiative the Nigerian's First Lady aimed at focusing attention on the empowerment of women as well as addressing health issues affecting them. In Ilorin, Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NT News.
Over 400 staff of the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, are to be trained on entrepreneurial skills acquisition to fast-track efficiency and transparency in government in the Federal Civil Service. Administrator of the Public Service Institute of Nigeria says the training is an attempt to utilize the e-governance regime. Abdul Malik Adio reports.
also have...
The motive here is simple and precise: to enhance capacity building and entrench the ease of doing business in the Public Service Institute of Nigeria and the National Directorate of Employment. At a short meeting to seal the collaboration, the administrator of the PSIN, Dr. Abdulganiu Obatoyibo, says the agency has been restructured to strengthen the organizational capacities of public service institutions through provision of transformational training, research and consulting.
And of course, the executive orders are simply to ensure that people should do business in Nigeria without hurdles. And so when he is creating the jobs, we should keep training and retraining and keep training and retraining so that our public servant can compete with any other public servant in the world.
With the capacity and facilities at PSIN, which is the Apex Training Institute in Nigerian's public service, the Director General NDE, Dr. Nasiru Mohammed, says entrenching standards in the civil service is critical and informed the collaboration.
We are going to partner with you so that our staff strength as far as issue of doing business in government is concerned, so that they can learn more.
At the end of the training, staff of NDE are expected to be better equipped in the discharge of their duties to help modernize management practice and enhance their leadership competence. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Adio, NTA News.
Now, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs Usani has urged contractors handling sections 1 to 4 of the East-West Road to resume stable and steady presence on the site in order to ensure speedy completion of the projects. He said this during a meeting with the representatives of the construction companies. Pastor Usani assured the contractors that the federal government is resolved to release funds as a matter of urgency to aid the completion of the East-West Road, which has suffered setback over a decade.
I want to assure you all that are participants in development of infrastructure in the region that our commitment will not be slower. It will only be faster than it has been before. And we are going to do all that we can to mobilize you with funds to work as we get releases from the Treasury.
And our stretch is small. What's outstanding work is very small, so if provided funding is available, it would not even go beyond the first quarter of March 2018.
The contractors had the opportunity to enumerate other challenges stifling the progress of the projects as the minister sought for clarity and recovery of the sum of 2 billion naira compensation fund, which was shrouded in controversy. Federal government to commence bitumen exploration in Ondo State. Let's join Daoju in our Benin Network Center for these and other stories from that zone. Daoju, it's over to you.
Good to see you. Good evening and welcome to Benin. The federal government has appropriated 200 million naira for the upgrade of the Petroleum Training Institute Afro Delta State to a digitized training center. This was stated by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, at the 2017 convocation ceremony of the institute. Helen Dunku reports.
The minister, represented by the permanent secretary of the ministry, Shade Yemi Esam, said PTI needs to be more conscious of the critical role it can play in complementing ongoing efforts to implement the country's oil and gas policy in terms of training and development of local content.
Petroleum industry bill is being considered in phases by the National Assembly, that the PTI will benefit immensely from the passage of the bill.
The principal and chief executive of the institute, Professor Sonny Iyuke, said since oil exploration and exploitation have moved offshore, PTI is training in that direction.
I wish to appeal to PTI to complete the 4 steps: the new academic building, the innovation of printing press, and the installation of training equipment, which are on ground.
In the 2017 budget, we had some gains, but we believe that in this 2018 budget that is coming, there are better prospects, for improved funding for these institutions.
A total of 1,102 persons graduated from different fields of study at this year's convocation. In Efu, Helen Dunku, NTA News.
Kilito. The exploration and exploitation of the large bitumen deposits in Ondo State will commence in February 2018. This is when the full pilot processing plants for the mineral resource will be ready for use. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, announced this in Akure at the launch of the Ondo State Development and Investment Promotion Agency, ONDIPA. Doris Olumuku has details.
The Investment Promotion Agency.
We sincerely do apologize for that. Our Benin Network Center seemed to be having some technical challenges. We take it up from there now. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store. That's if you use devices with iOS. Do stay with us here in NTA News Nationwide. Much more to come for you. DSS Medin Lecture diagnoses leadership challenges in Nigeria and the way forward. Details shortly. Stay with us.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The imperative of national unity and cohesion plots the challenge of adult and youth illiteracy in national development, all under close examination on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, incisive, informative and educating. Join us.
People commit crime and are punished for what they did.
A crime is a crime and it has devastating effect.
They go to jail, and 2 years, 10 years, various prison terms. They come out and go home.
Hey, stop there! Where do you think you're going to?
They try to reintegrate with the society.
Is what? As convict. Come back, it's not that bad.
But does the society accept them?
The prison was just for punishment.
Stigma is another thought-provoking and rib-cracking episode of Professor John Bull. Join us this week as we take you on the journey of the story of an ex-convict with two-faced Dibia.
My canteen don't say to that black place. What did he say you are? You are a cook or a native doctor? Restaurant I've been in a shrine.
Over and
brought to you by Glow,
the largest data network. Glow Unlimited.
World Cup is coming to StarTime Sports. Get the privilege to live the greatest football show on earth. Get the privilege to know before anyone else which nation will mark history, which players will become living legends. This autumn, don't miss the last matches of the FIFA World Cup 2018 European qualifiers. Exclusively on StarTime Sports. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped. We are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, Wherever the hideout, the Nigeria police force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism and other criminal activities. Be productive, be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
It's about that time. States across the country coming together for one purpose, one goal. They are young, they are solution providers. The NTA ETV Children's Expo 2017, holding at the NTA Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja, with the theme Renewable Energy, Industrialization, Arts and Agriculture as tools to bring Nigeria out of economic recession, with sub-themes post-harvest processing and preservation, and using arts and crafts to promote tourism. Date 22nd to 27th October 2017. This expo is open to ages 6 to 12 years for junior category and 13 to 18 years for the senior category. It's about the Art, Science and Technology Expo. For sponsorship consideration, please call the following numbers.
Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
These patriots worked together to achieve independence for one united Nigeria. Although some may say Nigeria is a mistake, we all know that the Almighty never makes mistakes.
God has not made a mistake by bringing us all together in the way that He has brought us together. God has put us together here so that we can build a community that will be an example to the entire world.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Nationwide, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. The federal government has been advised to locate the place of citizens in the leadership process in the country and fully utilize both human and natural resources that Nigeria has in abundance to achieve sustainable growth and development. Former Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nebo, gave the advice at the maiden annual leadership series by the Department of State Security, DSS, in Abuja.
If we do the needful, Nigeria will then emerge from this precipice much stronger, more united, and ready to thrive as one indissoluble, indivisible country, and indeed a nation as contemplated in our constitution, not in mere words or by compulsion. The central issue remains that the goal of all national development is to improve the lives of the citizens in question within the context of a growing economy and an emphasis on the good of the community as a whole.
Professor Nebo also spoke on industrialization, structural imbalance, effect of corruption on national development, as well as challenges of national security and the way forward. The lecture is part of activities to kickstart a 9-month executive intelligence management course of the Institute for Security Studies. The National Institute for Cultural Orientation, NICO, has identified culture as one critical tool that will accelerate development of the economy. Executive Secretary NICO Bakles Ayakoroma made this known at the Institute's quarterly lecture in Abuja. Oyinaya Kaloka reports.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, says for developing countries to achieve rapid growth, culture must not be neglected. For experts at NICO lecture, culture and accountability are crucial for efficient functioning of developing economies.
Absence of culture and accountability means lack of trust between government and the governed, which can breed social instability and gross underdevelopment.
The culture of accountability helps to promote awareness of the importance of good governance, and it also breeds trust between the government and the governed.
The lead paper was presented by the Vice Chancellor, Nasarawa State University, Kefi, Professor Mohammed Mainoma.
Culture in any country contains the most basic values that an individual may hold. It affects the way that individuals would like their society to be structured and how they interact with its substructure.
The National Institute for Cultural Orientation was established in 1993 to serve as a center for orientation in cultural matters for Nigerian policy makers. Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has thrown in its support for the successful staging of the 2017 Sarauniya Beauty Pageant. General Manager NTA Entertainment Bola Oyeyemi, who represented the Director General Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, gave the assurance when she hosted the organizers of the event in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has details.
The hospitals, the orphanage.
Zara Abdullahi is the crown queen of the 2016 edition. She says her emergence as the reigning queen has helped her to impact positively on the lives of the less privileged in the society.
In my community, I normally see children walk barefooted. Some go to school without even school bags, hold their books in the hand. So I have a pet project, which is the Back to School tour.
Unlike the usual beauty pageants, participants will come out empowered.
So whether you come out as a crown queen or not, you already have a skill which you are going to use outside the camp there to develop yourself and also develop the other people within your society.
It's difficult to get sponsorship because people really don't want to buy into our idea, because we don't want to buy into the idea of nudity. But coming to NTA, which is a modest station, we believe that they will help us to get that voice we are looking for.
Thank you. They got more than their expectation, as the General Manager Entertainment gave them her words.
Trying to get girls out of poverty and all, it's really good that you are championing this cause with the Sarauniya project. That when you have young people getting involved in projects such as yours, the Nigerian Television Authority never ever says no to supporting you.
General Manager Language Saudat Suleiman also promised to showcase them on the 3 major languages channels of the NTA. Sarauniya in Hausa language means queen, and the aim of the project is to promote the rich cultural heritage of Nigeria. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Why the local government elections in Kaduna State were postponed? We'll get you all the gists as we link up with Zulai in Kaduna for these and other stories. Zulai, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good evening and welcome to Kaduna. The Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission has cited lack of enabling law to support the local government election previously scheduled to hold on the 20th of December this year as a reason for postponement of the election. Chairperson of the Commission, Saru Tudiko Audu, stated this at a press briefing in Kaduna. Tina Toro reports.
Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission introduced electronic voting for the local government council elections previously scheduled to hold in December this year. However, the existing local government council election law in the state does not support electronic voting, hence the postponement.
But when we fixed this date, we really believed that the law would have been passed before the end of September, because we are looking at conducting elections in 2017, and 29th of September was the very last date that we could have announced a timetable if we wanted these elections in 2017.
Stakeholders at the meeting bear their minds on the postponement.
We are going to meet in our secretariat and digest what they said and then come up with our position to the press.
Shouldn't have fixed a date in the first place, knowing to the fact that the enabling bill that would have given the legal backing for the election has not been passed by the State Assembly.
Civil society organizations had earlier called for the postponement of the election due to lack of an enabling law.
The way forward now is to begin to find out exactly how much
prepared they are in terms of making the citizens aware of the new technology called the electronic voting machine.
The local government council election in the state has been postponed indefinitely. In Kaduna, Tina Turu, NTA News.
And now to ICT. With the aid of information communication technology, learning has been made easier for students nowadays. To meet with the trend, Kaduna State government has commenced distribution of smart computer tablets to students of public schools across the state. Muhammad Umarajingi reports that the students of Government Girls Secondary School Zaria are the first beneficiaries. The report.
The steps taken of distributing the tablets was aimed at equipping students of public schools with information communication technology skills for easy learning. Governor Nasru Ahmad El-Rufai noted that Kaduna State cannot afford to be left behind in that direction, hence the renewed vigor.
Our hope is that introducing it now, by 2019, we'll see the results of WAEC and NECO and see whether the students that use this tool are doing better than other schools that are not using it.
The tablets are equipped with needed syllabus, including past questions and answers of WAEC, NECO, and JAM for the past 10 years to enable the students practice before writing their exams. Meanwhile, Governor Nasru Ahmad El-Rufai was also at the moribund Zaria Pharmaceutical Company to explore extent of intervention needed to revive it. The governor reiterated that the commitment by both private sector and government in Nigeria of eradicating poverty and providing jobs for the teeming unemployed youths will only be possible through bringing back to life such type of companies that have suffered years of neglect. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Umarajingi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasiru Ahmad El-Rufai has condoled the Dutse Emirate and people of Jigawa State over the death of late Wazir Dutse Air Vice Marshal Muhammad Mukhtari. Habibu Hussaini reports that the governor was received by the Emir of Dutse, Alhaji Nuhu Muhammadu Sanusi, at his palace in Dutse. The report.
Late Air Vice Marshal Mukhtar Muhammad was the first governor of Kaduna State who contributes immensely towards the socio-economic development of present-day Kaduna and Katsina states. Malam Nasru El-Rufai described him as a man of honor who always advocates peace and unity of Nigeria. The governor describes the days as a loss to the nation, particularly people of Kaduna State, as they could not forget his contributions. Malam El-Rufai prayed Allah to grant him Jannatul Firdaus and gave his family, the Emirate Council and people of the state the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss. Emir of Dutse Alhaji Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi appreciated the visit and thanked people of Kaduna State for their condolence messages. He commended Malam Nasru El-Rufai's boldness in all public matters, appealing to leaders to be just and fair in all their dealings. Malam El-Rufai was accompanied by a secretary to Kaduna State Government, head of civil service, special advisors, and other top government functionaries from the state. From Dutse, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
It's on this note that we hand over to Joseph in Abuja for the rest of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Zulai. Disputes arising from the nation's money market and now to be determined in the first instance outside the regular court system of the country. This follows the inaugural sitting of the Investments and Securities Tribunal in Abuja. Femi Okewo reports.
Imagine if all the critical sectors of the nation's economy have the powers to determine and resolve their disputes. That would surely bring more confidence of investors in the nation's economy. That is what is beginning to happen in the nation's security market with the establishment of the Investment and Security Tribunal. The 10-member panel held its inaugural sitting at the headquarters of the Investment and Securities Tribunal in Abuja. About 45 cases have been listed to be determined before the end of the year. This, chairman of the tribunal says, is a giant leap towards securing the confidence of foreign investors in the Nigerian economy.
It is meant to quickly settle disputes within a given period so as to sustain the confidence of investors and stakeholders in the system.
The Investments and Securities Tribunal has offices in Lagos, Port Harcourt and Kano, in addition to the one in Abuja. Investment disputes in these areas will therefore subsequently be similarly dealt with. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
And in sports, analysts call for early preparations for Super Eagles after qualification for 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia, as Nigerian professional golfers identify lack of sponsorship as major setback for the game's development. Ayodeji Makinde has details on our sports update.